Hey everybody, BC, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. Just wanted to post a short video. Kind of picked up a few new records recently. Well, some of them not so recent, but what I've got to show. One of them in particular I picked up recently, and unfortunately I do have to send it back, but I'll show you why. But these are kind of an extension, maybe a part two, if you will, from the video I'd done previously of content in the VC that has influenced me, inspired me, if you will, to listen to other music that I may not have heard of had it not been for those in the VC. One of those, and I'd like to give credit where credit is due, but honestly, I don't know where I saw it. It may have been definitely one of the channels that leans towards heavy metal, 80s metal, but I'm not sure. It may have even been a social media website that I used to partake in. I don't any longer, but it was a 80s metal website. But this is the one here. It's a band called Forbidden, and from what I gather, they originally were called Forbidden Evil, which is the title of their debut album, but they dropped the evil part of the band title. But they are a Bay Area thrash metal band. When I heard them, it totally reminded me of like Anthrax or something of the like. But this one is titled Twisted Into Form. It's their second one. I think it came out in 1990, 89 or 90, I forget. 1990, there it is. But yeah, it's a good metal album, and it's a band that I had not been familiar with. That this came out right around the time, just wasn't in my wheelhouse. I had other stuff happening in my life that I explained in other videos. I won't get into. I'm not going to bore you with that, but yeah, unfortunately, it's got a defect on the wax itself that is in the grooves, the vinyl. I've tried to clean it to no avail several times. So unfortunately, I will have to send that one back, but it's a good one. I mean, I'd like to have it in my vinyl library. And I'd like to shout out somebody that maybe inspired me to listen to that, but I don't even know who. Just the VC in general. How you like that? But yeah, if you've not heard them, and you like metal, I would suggest checking them out. It's a pretty solid record, but yeah, I'll have to send that back to from where it came. Another one I forgot to mention this one last time when I was doing VC channel shoutouts. This one is Painted Shield. It was brought to my attention by way of Mike over at Hub Tunes. And he showed this, it's got to be the better part of 6 to 9 months ago. And I think at the time, actually, I don't know when he had picked it up, but he was showing it as, it's a really good record. It's McCready from Pearl Jam. So if you're familiar with Pearl Jam and McCready, you'll probably, it's not like Pearl Jam. I don't want to suggest that it is. But it's different, and that's what I like about it. But it's really good. Who is on here? I should have prepared for this a little better, but I didn't. So it is what it is. Yeah, he's got some other musicians. I think they had intended to do this back in, I'd read 2013, 14, but it got delayed for various other reasons, commitments to their other projects, and finally they put it together during the pandemic. I think in 2020, thereabouts. But yeah, Jeff McReady and some other guests on here. It's really good. I'll thank Mike over at Hub Tunes for that, because I probably would not have heard of them, and it's a solid one. A couple of more I picked up. These were just again, I showed some that I'd picked up as a bulk purchase a while back from one guy. He had a box of vinyl records, and they were all dirt cheap. Like I think I was paying $1 each for these records. But I finally got around to cleaning these, listening to them, and both of them are by George Benson. This one is Give Me the Night. And this one is actually a collection, a George Benson collection. And what I like about this one, well, there's lots to like about it, but he does a pretty funky cover of Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit on here. But of course, it's got Turn Your Love Around, Love All That Love All the Hurt Away, Give Me the Night, like I just mentioned on that album. Cast Your Fate to the Wind, Never Give Up on a Good Thing on Broadway. We were listening to this the other night, and Mrs. Twanger's Turntable was commenting how she really liked that tune. It's all good. The whole thing is, he does a cover of the Beatles, George Harrison, Here Comes the Sun on here. There's a lot of good stuff on this one, George Benson. And it actually still had the original booklet in it, which was really cool. Because like I said, I paid next to nothing for these. Like they were literally about $1 each. So it's a great little booklet that came with it. And once I cleaned it up and gave it a spin, it's amazing. I mean, I would suggest it's near mint, but at the very least, very good plus. A great addition to my vinyl collection, my modest collection, that if I can pick up records like that for $1, I'll do it all day long. That's hard to do, certainly now. And this is another one I'd had on different formats. Hadn't heard it in many years, and then started hearing it again in the vinyl community. I hear it quite frequently over at the Vinyl Archivist. Patrick plays it a lot. Well, he plays basically anything you request that he has, he'll play it. But this is the debut by a Canadian group here, Moxie. Just a solid album. I do remember these guys from back in the day, and didn't even know they had much of a catalog beyond this, but I did score this one. I was going to post a video of opening it up with one of my grandsons, but it just, for whatever reason, there's parts of that video, it's just too much editing. It came on that splattered gray vinyl. And I know there are detractors out there about colored vinyl and whatnot, but I don't know. This one sounds amazing. It sounds great on my system. I admit that my system is not necessarily what one would refer to as an audiophile system, but that's not really what I'm into it for. I just enjoy the ritual, the listening experience, and it sounds great. So glad to have that. And then I also scored their follow-up, Moxie 2. And yeah, this one came out in, what was it, 76? Yeah, 76. This one came out in 76. I think their debut was 75. This is a reissue, but yeah, 75. Yeah, so an area I'm very familiar with is where this one was distributed through, was Pointe Claire, Quebec. It's just in Montreal. So yeah, some recent pickups and not so recent pickups, but had not had a chance to share them. And that's what I hope to start doing a little more of going forward, is just sharing more of what I have in my vinyl collection, my library, if you will. It's not, I don't know why I seem to have an issue with that term collection. But every time I say it, it just doesn't sound right. It's my records, essentially. What's on Twanger's Turntable. That's what I want to show, is what's on Twanger's Turntable. So that's it. Just a follow-up to my previous video of things that I may have not heard or been reintroduced to since being in the VC. Thanks, everybody. All those who have supported, much appreciated. The sharing that is involved here in the vinyl community is awesome. The music, the inspiration, all that stuff. And check out the channels I mentioned. I guess I only mentioned Mike's Hub Tunes just because of that Painted Shield record. So yeah, go over and check out his channel. It's only one shout out, but I love giving the shout outs just because it's those who inspire me, So I'm going to leave it at that. I went on a little bit, but that's just the way things tend to go when I start talking about music and whatnot. So cheers. Hit the like if you liked it. Sub, all that stuff. And I'll see you here next time on Twanger's Turntable. Take care, everyone.